All right. So this very first picture that you're seeing right now is in a beautiful spot called Baha'i, which you're going to see more about later on. All right, so the first question here, and I'm going to invite people to read if they don't mind, so that it's not just my voice that's being heard. I wonder if Kim Manillo could read this very first quotation. Are you able to see it, and are you willing to read that?
Okay. Well, I go on Baha'i pilgrimage. Render thanks unto God that thou didst come to the blessed spot, didst lay thy head upon the threshold of the sacred shrine, and didst make pilgrimage to the hallowed sanctuary round which circle in adoration the intimates of the spiritual realm. Abdul Baha.
Okay, so there are three central figures in the Baha'i faith. There's the founder of the Baha'i faith, Baha'u'llah, which means the glory of God, the Bab, which means the gate, and Abdul Baha, which means the servant of the glory. And those three central figures are buried in the Holy Land, along with the holy places for Jews, Christians, and Muslims. So that's why Baha'is go to visit there. So just a quick bit of background. We visit the shrines of Baha'u'llah and the Bab and to connect with the spiritual history of the faith, because Baha'u'llah was an exile and a prisoner to this area back when it was called Palestine. It's a profound spiritual experience. It gives us a chance for prayer, reflection, and renewal. And we get to learn a lot about the history of the faith and the sacrifices that were made by the founders and the global community of the Baha'is. So our family went to pray for family, friends, and peace in the shrines, in addition to all of the other reasons mentioned above. So, next slide. All right, so disclaimer, I was wondering if I could ask Bill Collins, if you are there, and if you're willing to read, could you please read this quote here on this page?
Okay. The Baha'i faith is entirely non-political, and we neither take sides in the present tragic dispute going on over the future of the Holy Land and its peoples, nor have we any statement to make or advice to give as to what the nature of the political future of this country should be. Our aim is the establishment of universal peace in this world, and our desire to see justice prevail in every domain of human society, including the domain of politics. As many of the adherents of our faith are of Jewish and Muslim extraction, we have no prejudice towards either of these groups and are most anxious to reconcile them for their mutual benefit and for the good of the country. That was Shoghi Effendi's cover letter to a letter on the future of Palestine to the United Nations in 1947.
And thank you. That's why I asked you to read it, because I knew you'd know the context. Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you. All right, slow but steady. We're moving on. Okay, so the first part is kind of the background. Our family has been on pilgrimage before, and one of the times that we went was in July 2006. And I thought there might be some other people on this call that were with us, but it was also a time of conflict, and there were some rockets being fired from southern Lebanon at that time. But our family at the time, with our two sons, were able to be part of the pilgrimage. Actually, most of the pilgrimage, we just had to do a lot of it underground. And the good thing is that we were able to pray for guidance about where we would live. And one of the answers to prayer came when we got word the next day after visiting one of the shrines at midnight that our house had sold. And so we were free to move to North Carolina. So that was a very interesting confirmation amidst a very hard and interesting time. So here we are on day one. And this is going to go pretty quickly for the first part, and then the last part might go a little bit slower. But for the Baha'i pilgrimage, the very first day, we get an orientation. And one thing that's kind of cool is they give us a sort of a heads up. Hey, this is a time of conflict. You may need to, get to a safe space. Here are some of the things you need to do, in addition to talking about the spiritual preparation that's needed for pilgrimage. So we got that orientation. We also had the bounty of sharing this pilgrimage with my sister, who is in the picture here with the restaurant, and her son and daughter, my niece and nephew, who you will see later on, and their father, along with some friends that we'd met way back a long time ago in Puerto Rico, and also my cousin and his wife, Tahiti. So we got to have that wonderful orientation, meet old friends, go to a place called the Haifa Pilgrim House, which is where pilgrims were received back in the time of Abdul Baha, back in the late 1800s, early 1900s. It's a very beautiful building. And then we could go and pray in the Shrine of the Bab, which is this golden domed building right here. So that's a really special time. And then just meeting with the friends afterwards for dinner was really great as well, catching up a little bit. And you can see throughout this whole slideshow that we were kind of joyous and happy at all times, even though things are kind of crazy in the world and whatever's going on around us, but we just felt so glad to be with each other. So the next day on June 10th, we went to the holy spot, the most holy spot of the Baha'i world, which is called Baha'i, and it's got the Shrine of Baha'u'llah. And over here on the right, you can see this lower right, kind of a smaller brown building with a red roof. And it seems somewhat humble, but it is actually the most holy spot in the world for the Baha'is to go to pray in. And next to it is a building that is called the Mansion of Baha'i, which is where the founder of the Baha'i faith spent his last years. And you can also see the lovely gardens and this window on this tree that's kind of growing in the visitor center, called the Baha'i Visitor Center, where we could go and drink tea and coffee and talk and then get ready to go and say the prayers in the shrine. So this is our daughter Celeste, who was with us, and over by this beautiful tree that was there in the time of Baha'u'llah is my niece and myself and Celeste, just going to see that tree because we like it so much. So, and Cesar, I think you're on the call, so if you have anything to add, please do. So later that day, we were able to visit with the Universal House of Justice, which is the governing body for the Baha'i faith, and it's in this white building on the left with our friend, this is Sandy Hoover, who we met way back. I met her when I was 16 in 1983, so just to date myself a little bit. And I think Cesar met her a bit later or somewhere in that year with the radio workshop that was done in Puerto Rico. So we also had a wonderful dinner that evening with a staff member named Doreen, and just enjoyed her company, and she's a friend of our kids. So we got a chance to know her and just visit some of the other places on what's called the Ark of Mount Carmel. So there's the International Archives building, which is where a lot of the holy artifacts from the Baha'i faith are. The International Teaching Center, which is a place where people meet to talk about the spread of the Baha'i faith and how to promote cause of peace and unity. And these are just beautiful gardens around the terraces. There are like 9 terraces above the Shrine of the Bab and 9 terraces below that go down to Ben Gurion, which is the main street in that area of Haifa. Next day was really interesting for me. I really love history. And this is the old city of Akka or Acre. And it is a city that has been around since well before the Middle Ages. And the Crusaders were there. Later, Napoleon tried to bombard it, and it never fell. And later, Baha'u'llah was exiled there. And but Baha'u'llah and his family were brought over on a boat and were taken into the city and into the barracks of a very horrible place at the time. It was the furthermost outpost of the Ottoman Empire at that time. And Baha'u'llah had gone through a lot of exiles to get there. And finally, this is the place where he was taken in 1868. So we were able to see the gate through which he and his family came, and see some of the restored places where the like some of the medieval Templars and some of the other people from that time period were stationed. So it's a fascinating place to visit. And this is the barracks that I mentioned where Baha'u'llah was taken. You can see across from the barracks, there's an area with a red roof where eventually Baha'u'llah was allowed to leave, because once the government found out that he was not a criminal, he was peaceful and actually trying to promote the interests of the people in the area, he was allowed to leave and go to some of these other buildings. But this is the inside of the barracks. You cannot see inside of the place where he was because it's a holy spot, but you can get an idea. It's been restored because it's also a museum for the Jewish resistance in the 1920s.
Mm.
This staircase is inside one of those red roofed houses. It's the House of Abud, and it's got a beautiful staircase that the pilgrims all took a picture on at the end. There's so many. I mean, I can't even tell you how many pictures we have, but I didn't want to bore you with all of those details, so I'm kind of going through a really quick overview of everything. Because, you know, this is a pilgrimage that most people do, and it's kind of the same for everyone. They've changed it up a little bit. They've gotten even better at telling stories. My father-in-law was also with us, and he was 92, and he did very well and was able to participate in all of the parts of the pilgrimage with us. So here you see a picture of my father-in-law eating a wonderful falafel. That's the evening. And this is the best falafel place probably in Haifa. It's in the Arab part of the city. And we were also able to visit the Shrine of the Bab again later that evening. You can see the city of Haifa at night. It's just a beautiful city. On day 4, we've got the opportunity to visit some other holy spots that are outside of the city of Haifa. Here on this side, where you see the construction, is the new site for the Shrine of Abdul Baha. Right now, Abdul Baha is, the body of Abdul Baha is housed within the Shrine of the Bab in another room, but a new one is being built. So the Baha'is of the world are contributing to be able to make this happen. So it's very exciting to see that progress. And there's a new visitor center that's being built right next to it. Then you see these cute little kids from California in front of the gateway to the Wiswan Gardens. And you cross this bridge and you're in this beautiful spot with the flowers. And it's very peaceful. It's a place where Baha'u'llah used to go and rest after having been imprisoned for so many years. So that's my niece, and that's one of the fountains. There's in that beautiful spot. And as I mentioned before, Baha'u'llah was able to leave the barracks, the prison, and he was able to go to some of the houses in the nearby area. And one of these other houses is called Masreh. So this is the house of Masreh and some of the surrounding gardens. It's a very fertile area with lots of olives and beautiful flowers and things like that. So, we also were able to visit the Shrine of Baha'u'llah again. And there's just another few shots of the different gardens. And here's our pilgrim guide, Hillary, little great pilgrim guide, walking with my husband. And these really gorgeous gates that were donated in the name of Baha'i, who really helped the faith grow in the West, named Amelia Collins. And as you can see, these gardens were very carefully laid out by the great-grandson of Baha'u'llah, named Shoghi Effendi. He laid out these gardens because he wanted to show the majesty and the beauty of the cause of Baha'u'llah, because the point of the faith is to bring faith, to bring unity and love to everybody in humanity, and to do that through the divine teachings of all of the religions. So this is kind of an expression of that beauty and that love for all of humanity. It's kind of a gift to all of us. We were also able to go into the mansion of Baji. So this is the upper floor of that mansion. You can see the stairway that's got this lovely blue detailing and these paintings. It was an interesting story because the gentleman who sold this there was a pandemic or an epidemic, a really bad epidemic. So the Baha'is were able to purchase this building for a very low price, and it was basically in a bad state of repair for a long time, and they were able to restore it and make it beautiful like this. And I'm skipping a lot. I know that I'm missing a whole bunch of history, but again, I don't want to get too much into the history because it would take me all night. Back in Haifa that evening, we could go to what's called the Monument Gardens. And here are two of the resting places of the family of Baha'u'llah. The wife of Baha'u'llah named Nawab, and the son of Baha'u'llah named Mirza Midi. One sad thing about Mirza Midi is he was a very devoted son, and one day he was praying on the top of the barracks that I showed you earlier, and he didn't realize where he was walking, and he fell through a skylight, and he died. But before that, he asked his father if he could make his life a sacrifice so that other pilgrims would be able to come. Because at that time, the pilgrims were really not able to see Baha'u'llah, and they really wanted to come. So after that, they started to come in greater numbers. So it was a sacrifice that was very sad, but very grateful that the people were able to come. All right. So here we are. That night, that Thursday night, we had our first siren around 8 o'clock. The first thing that Hillary did was he got on the WhatsApp with our group J, and said, "What's your status?" And so each one of us had to go through and give our status and tell where we were. At that time, we didn't know where our safe space was in our apartment. We went to the dining area first. So this picture that you see right here is actually the next night after the landlord of the apartment came and told us that this was the safe room. It had reinforced walls and a window. So this is taking us back to our training on the first day. What do you do if there's a siren? So they told us to just go in there and wait until there was an all clear. And the interesting thing was that they had a new system that had just been put in place for warning people in the whole city and the whole country through a telephone app. So the first warning was said, get close to a safe space. And then the second one said, get into the safe space and wait there. So the first night, I don't recall, Cesar, maybe you know, did you hear anything that first night, or was it just the silence?
I don't remember.
Sorry, I don't hear you.
I don't remember if we heard the siren or not.
Yeah, I just remember.
We probably did.
Yeah, I think the first night we heard the siren, but we didn't hear anything else. So we just kind of sat around talking, this is interesting, what's going on? And then sure enough, we found out about the news about what was going on. But even so, the next day, we were, as soon as we were able to, we came together and got together with our family. So this picture here is my niece, my father-in-law, my sister, my cousin's wife, Tahiti, Sandy Hoover, a friend, my cousin, a woman named Andia. She just finished her service and she was doing her pilgrimage at the end of her service. And I can't speak over there. I think that's Cesar with the blue shirt. This other place that we visited was also the resting place of Abdullah's wife. So we were able to walk around the Monument Gardens as well. But we were pretty much told to stay in for a couple of days. We came out a little bit towards the end of the second day. Because the World Center was trying to help us figure out, it was trying to decide what was safe to do. So even so, got together with friends. This is my cousin and his wife and some friends. That's Rod, good friend, and the father of our niece and nephew. And Mel and Nagash, who used to live in Puerto Rico as well. So yeah, just lots of socializing, even in the face of the stuff that was going on, because it wasn't constant, thank heavens. It was just, we were able to, after the sirens were over, we came out, there's some hours in between, we were able to go to some of the holy places and take pictures and visit. So that was very helpful. And then the program came back on, and here's what's really interesting to me, and this happened in 2006 as well. Every time the House of Justice or the Pilgrimage Office came up with an itinerary for us, like, okay, today we're going to visit the houses, the Ark buildings that's on this Ark on the mountain of Mount Carmel. And, we're going to visit these places at this time. Every time we did that, no problems, no sirens, everything was good. And then we were just able to proceed with our day. And then there might be a siren. So nothing was really disrupted. Once they made a decision to carry something out, it just happened. And we felt very safe and calm in those circumstances. We didn't feel like we were in danger. We knew that we were going to be taken care of. And we also had faith that, if something were to happen, that somehow we would manage to overcome it, because we had each other. And we had the prayers and the good wishes and the good consultation from the House of Justice, who was there and praying for the pilgrims at the same time we were praying for the world. So this is called the International Teaching Center, this building here. And as I mentioned before, this is a place where a lot of the ideas for teaching in different parts of the world about the Baha'i faith happen. Because there is no clergy in the Baha'i faith. There is only an administration that is elected based on spiritual qualities. And the goal of every single one of these institutional bodies is to promote unity and love. And there's no proselytizing either. So whatever is decided has to be done in such a way that it's respectful and, in such a way that it gets the attention and helps with the education of the people that it's designed to reach, which is the whole world. And there's just some really beautiful spaces in there, because in addition to being an office space, it's also a place where dignitaries go and, they see what's going on at the World Center. So it has to be a very beautiful space. Mm-hmm. And it's got some special writings here on this beautiful glass prism. The words, "I am the royal falcon on the arm of the Almighty. I unfold the drooping wings, and I unfold the drooping wings." And I can't remember the rest of it, but it's
lifted on its flight or something.
Yeah, and started on its flight. Yeah, of every broken bird, and started on its flight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So that's written in Arabic here, and it's on that prism.
That's neat. I didn't realize that. I'd only seen the ringstone symbol. I didn't realize there was the other quotation as well. Thank you.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see on there, but it's like very small Arabic writing right underneath that symbol. And that symbol indicates the unity of the unifying line between God, the manifestations of God, which are the teachers that bring messages of love to humanity, and then humankind. So it's kind of a symbol there about that. We also visited the seat of the House of Justice again, and this is kind of some beautiful spots that are in there, the place where the House of Justice meets. That's the hallway in front of it, with a picture about the Baha'i there. The main entry area, which way back in the day when I was in the staff, I used to help direct the choir there, and we used to sing for holy days. And then the dining hall, at which many dignitaries have been hosted in the past, and will continue to be hosted when they come to visit. The other place we visited was it's basically a small library for the members of the House of Justice, because that's where the research department used to be.
Spoken like a librarian.
That's where it used to be. The whole department used to be up there, and now it's just a small library. But this is now the research department, called the Center for the Study of the Sacred Texts. It's its own building, again, very beautiful, very dignified. And you can see the lovely visitor center where the public can come and learn about the Baha'i faith. There are pamphlets and videos and things like that to learn about it. You may also notice there's a lot of diversity in our pilgrimage group. We had people from all over the world. We had people from the United Arab Emirates, California, Canada, England, all kinds of places. Here we are back in the basement of the Pilgrim Reception Center. And this is the app. This is what it said when we had like 1 minute to get inside of a safe space. And we also got word that our flights were canceled. So we were just like, okay, we don't know what's going to happen. Let's just, talk to each other and chill out and have a good time. And it'll be figured out. We'll figure it out one way or the other. So we always had faith and confidence that it would happen, that we would get to where we needed to go. And you can see on our faces, we're just having a good time. I know it sounds like this is going to be full of anxiety, but it really wasn't. I mean, of course, I never, ever want this to happen again. And we don't like war, and it was no fun to have that happen to us. But given the circumstances, we just made the best of it. And truly, in the best sense of the word, we really, really loved each other and had so much fun being together.
I wanted to mention that the last 4 days of our stay in Haifa, the city of Haifa got a lot of missiles, and they usually came between 3 in the morning and 5. So, at that time the sirens will sound, and we'll have to go into the safe room. And as soon as they started exploding, I like to count, and I usually count about 30 explosions, 30 to 40 explosions every morning for the last 4 days. Thank goodness, only at that time in the morning. After we left, we learned that the city started getting explosions during the day as well, in addition to the early morning explosions. So that part was not fun, but
No, no, it's true. And yeah, I actually kind of glossed over that part because, yeah, when the first night that we heard of those explosions, all of us were just saying prayers. And, I think every night we were saying prayers after that. But that first night, it was very heartfelt. It was like, okay, this might be it. Love you all. Here we go. And it was just a lot of booms. And thankfully, most of those booms were taken care of by the Israeli defense. So, some did hit, but nothing got close to us. It was really up in the air.
Boy, I think of how cranky I get if someone interrupts my sleep. I mean, I marvel at your calmness here as you tell us all of this. It's interesting to see all of this and to get these alerts. Wow.
Yeah, these happened, these alerts happened on our phones, and they also happened out there, with the sirens outside. And there were safe places in just about every place, but a lot of pilgrims didn't know where they were at the beginning, so we had to figure that out. And sometimes, there was one time when the pilgrims had to go into an underground, area. But yeah, I forgot what I was going to say after that. Oh yeah, the sleep part. So I'm sure that the reason why the bombs were sent at that time, that was one of the reasons. Like, things were kind of intentionally sent at that time. But it's in terms of us as pilgrims. They gave us the bounty of letting us sleep in the next day. So the programs that they would have would be much later in the day. I know that the staff were also, given a little bit of grace. They could come into work later. They could leave work earlier. So yeah, it was, thankfully, we got the sleep that we needed, I think, to help us recover. And I slept so well because I felt like we're here to pray for peace. We have absolutely nothing to do with any of this. So we're going to do what needs to be done. And that helped a lot with my mental space because I could have stayed up all night scrolling. And, for the first time in my life, I subscribed to the New York Times. I usually don't want to listen to the news because to me, it's not that helpful. But this time I really wanted to know what was going on. But I stopped scrolling right away. I said, you know what, this is not helping anything. We need to sleep. We need to do what we're here for and just move on. So at least that's how I reacted to the sleep situation. So we kind of felt that this was our last day. We had an opportunity to talk at the end of the day. I'm not sure if it was on a Monday, so whatever the 18th was, no, the 16th. Yeah, that was Monday. That was when we had our chance to talk to the pilgrimage office and find out what our options were for leaving. So yeah, exactly. No doom scrolling for us. We did a little bit of that, but we tried to keep it to a minimum. So we had a beautiful, fantastic, lovely day because we had the chance to see pretty much all of the places we hadn't yet seen on our pilgrimage. We got to go to the International Archives building in the middle of the day. So that's our group that got to go. They split the bigger group into smaller groups. And the people in this smaller group were mostly friends and family from Puerto Rico or, that we were very close to. So it was a really nice group that we got to know there. If we didn't already know them. And then later we got to go to the house of Abdu'l-Baha, the son of the founder. And that was very special too, because at the end of that, we got to, somewhere in there, we got to see his car, which was an old 1922, beautifully restored. Can't remember the name of the car, but it was donated to him by the Baha'is in California. And we got to see, we got to hear Abdu'l-Baha's voice chanting as well inside of the house of the master. We call him the master because he was known as the master. He was the example for all Baha'is to follow because he was the most, I guess, he followed the teachings of his father the best of anyone. So we were to look to his example in terms of like how to deal with what's going on in the world, how to talk about peace, how to love, how to give compassion, all of those things, patience, all of the qualities that we need to give to all of humanity. And so there we are. I love these two pictures because it just shows the joy and the togetherness of the whole group. And that same night, it was a big day. We had the discussion about where we were going to go. We had those two visits. And then at the end of the evening, we were given a reception at the International Teaching Center where one of the members of the House of Justice spoke to us, briefly. And again, we were just like having a wonderful time. We talked, we had that reception, and we were getting ready to get on the buses when suddenly the siren went off. So we all came back in very peacefully, and we came to the International Teaching Center auditorium to keep safe. And so this is where we are. And shortly before that, we had met a Baha'i from Mongolia. Not Mongolia, I keep getting that wrong. From Siberia that my husband and my family had met back when we were in a music group called El Viento Canta. And this woman, whose name is Svetlana, came up to us and said, "Oh, I know you. You were the one that taught me the faith." So we taught her about the Baha'i faith way back in the 1990 when we were visiting Siberia with our music group. And she went on to marry one of the members of the House of Justice and is serving there, and she serves as a pilgrim guide. So it was very exciting because she also mentioned that after singing a beautiful song right there in the International Teaching Center auditorium. So it was a great connection with our past and with the present and with the future, because they also told us wonderful stories in the International Teaching Center about what's been going on around the world with Baha'is promoting education, unity, and the basic understanding of all of the virtues through the holy writings. So it was a really, really nice connection talking to Svetlana there at the ITC. So now going back to Monday, that meeting, what we were told was that the border crossing through Jordan was still safe, that if we wanted to, the Pilgrimage Office and the House of Justice would provide us with transportation to the border of Jordan, because we were all wondering, how are we going to get to Jordan? Are we going to take a taxi? Are we going to take a sharut? What on earth are we going to do? How much is this going to cost us? How can we possibly spend money over there? Because we already spent all our money over here. We don't have any money left. I mean, all of these kind of questions were in the back of our minds, but we didn't let it bother us too much. However, those questions were answered. They would just give us a bus and we would get to the border, and then the Baha'is of Jordan were very kind, and they provided a bus to get us to Amman, Jordan, and they would provide us with places to stay until we were able to fly out. So, I mean, it was incredibly generous. So we had to get up early in the morning. Some people stayed for the last day of pilgrimage, and they were able to go to the house of Abdullah Pasha, which is another of the houses in Akka. But we were not able to, because we thought we had to catch a flight the next day, or Cesar thought he had to with his dad. So we hopped on the bus at 7 in the morning, and we drove to the Jordanian border. We got to see the beautiful Jordan River Valley. Didn't take us long to get there, only about an hour and a half, maybe. But during that time, there was another siren, so we had to stop the bus. We didn't have to get out. I think they were saying we were far enough away that we didn't have to get out at that time. But once the all clear sounded, we went out on our way to the border crossing, and you can see all the luggage and all the carts. And once we got out of the border crossing after 4.5 hours of paying, different visas and whatnot, there's this beautiful red bus waiting for us. And another thing I have to tell you is about our guide on this trip. I don't know if you can see him here. No, here. Okay, you sort of see the back of his head here. This gentleman here is Amjad. Amjad works at the Baha'i World Center as a mechanical engineer. His origin is from Akka. His family is from the Holy Land. He grew up there. His great-great-grandfather learned about Baha'u'llah back when Baha'u'llah was being brought over on the ship to Akka, because all of the people in the town were coming out to jeer and yell or just be curious about this personage coming from Persia. And Amjad's ancestor, his wife was having a baby, and the ancestor was really worried about his wife. So he said a prayer before he set eyes on Baha'u'llah. He said, well, if this Baha'u'llah is the teacher from God for this day, then everything will be okay. My wife will be okay, and my child will be okay. So he went to see his wife, but then he heard this ululation in that part of the world. If something really wonderful happens, everybody goes, I can't do it properly, but it's like this joyful cry. So when he heard that, he knew that all was well. So he immediately turned about face and went to where Baha'u'llah was coming ashore and was able to speak with him. And Baha'u'llah told him, I gave you a daughter, her name is Zainab. And so this man became the first Baha'i in Akka. So I tried to find information about this person in other locations, but I couldn't. So I'll have to look a little bit further. But that was the story that I got this morning from Amjad, because I said, Amjad, I think you're from that area. Can you tell me how your family became Baha'i? And that's what he sent me. So Amjad, this wonderful guy, he, had to leave his job to accompany us across the border, but he helped us, get all of our visas, get the luggage on, get to the buses properly, make sure that we were taken care of, so we knew exactly where to go and what to do. So I will always be grateful to Amjad for that. Okay, so we got through there, and here we are on our way. Happy people on the bus. That bus was so comfortable. Lots of leg room, good air conditioning. In both cases, just, such a good experience for us. And then we arrived at a place called Al-Wedde, which is in Amman, Jordan, and it's basically a Baha'i institute. And the cool thing about it is that if you happen to be familiar with some of the more recent educational materials in the Baha'i faith, you will see them over here, but they're in Arabic. So I actually almost burst into tears when I saw this, because I saw all the evidences of the activities for children and junior youth and, prayers and things like that, all the wonderful things that are happening to promote the oneness of humanity happening in that building. So it just was so neat to come to this space, and this was our landing place. So our family got to stay there for 4 nights. Cesar and his father left a couple of nights earlier, and my daughter and I went with my sister and her daughter to Greece for just 1 day. We were supposed to go for 5 days, but we only got to go for 1 day. That's okay though, because we spent 4 days in Amman, Jordan, which was absolutely amazing. So again, this is our pilgrimage group. And by that time, so we were the first group to leave. There were 24 of us that left. I think 2 left us a little bit earlier at the border. But that first bus was 24. The second bus was around 48 the next night. So we got to see them. And then the third bus had some more. So I think there were a total of about 100 people that got out in that 3-day period. Some were staff members whose time to serve had just about ended anyway, but their flights had been canceled. Some were 3-day visitors, and some were the pilgrims that we were with on our pilgrimage. So these are just some other places that we got to see after the pilgrimage. This is the beautiful Amman Baha'i Center, which has some other historical items from the Baha'i faith in there. It's got some things from a village where Abdu'l-Baha helped the people grow a lot of grain and wheat to help feed General Allenby and his troops when they came to liberate that area from the Ottoman Empire. And so that the table and the chair where Abdu'l-Baha sat in that village are in
Adisia, that's the name.
Adisia, yeah, exactly. Thank you. So that village was really a wonderful example of how, with careful planning and complete dedication to the well-being of the people, a whole area was saved from starvation. Yes, thank you, Adasia. Appreciate that. So there are other items from the House of the Bab, the founder, the forerunner, some things from his, like sections of the window or sections of the floor tiny pieces, but still really a special visit we got to do in that location. And then, of course, we had to go sightseeing into the mall and all that. But down here on the lower right is a group of youth that met to talk about justice one of the nights that we were there. So there was some Jordanian youth in addition to some of the Pilgrim youth. And that was a really neat combination of Arabic and English happening at the same time. So anyway, I know that I've been talking for a long time. So please ask questions. Those are more scenes from Amman with some of the Baha'is and the beautiful buildings, which look a lot like Jerusalem. Just some of us who've been there.
I think my mind is just blown by that gentleman's great-great-grandfather meeting Baha'u'llah and Akka. I mean, it's just, that's one that I would love to have that story told, the Baha'i History Zoom programs from Cyprus. That just, that got me. That was just amazing. Oh.
Yeah, it was a truly wonderful story. I need to see if I can get some other verification about that. Let me see. Okay, I will read a little bit of this.
I'm sorry, I do have one more question. That statement of the Guardian to the UN. How can I get a copy of that? I'm guessing I've seen it floating around, circulating on Facebook, but can Larissa, Bill, somebody give me a copy?
I'll get a link to the statement, and I'll.
Yeah, he's going to find it faster than I will. I looked it up, and I knew there was something out there, and I found it, and it was so exciting to find it.
That's fine. I mean, that's so pertinent right now. So thank you. Those are my initial reactions.
Okay. Okay. So the ancestor of our friend Amjad is Abdullah Toze, Tozeh, according to Amjad's spelling. And Amjad's story is written here in the WhatsApp. So maybe I can talk to Bill and see how to get more verification on this story. But anyway. He said that later the daughter Zainab grew up and married Mr. Ajdi's son, who says Baha'u'llah's cooker and was with him during his trip. So, I don't know. Mr. Ajdi and Zainab, that's the one. That's his aunt, his great-great-great aunt. Any other questions or comments?
I just put the link to Shoghi Effendi's statement in the chat.
Okay. All right, I know where it's there. It is. Sorry, okay.
Okay, Helen.
Thank you, Bill.
No, just a question about safe places, like it's some are underground, or you show the apartment, it was underground, or it was in the.
No. It's interesting you asked that. This time, most people ended up being in a safe space within an apartment that had a reinforced room, like reinforced windows and walls. Some places were underground. When we were there in 2006, we were almost all the time underground. So during that, those like even for talks, that were given, we were always in the service tunnels, but not this time. This time we were up above ground. So. Thank you, everyone, so much for coming. I'm always happy to chat with anyone who wants to stick around, but this is the end of our program. And yeah, it's really, really great to see all of you.
Thank you so much.
All right, you're welcome.
It's just interesting to see things that or learn things that I hadn't seen. I mean, I've seen some of the pictures and stuff, but it's just really interesting to see how it all worked out, how everything was handled, see all the different pictures and such. So, yeah.
Thank you, Alan. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Larissa.
All right, take care. Thank you, everybody. Mom, are you going to stay on or are you going?
Right. Yeah, I'm going to stay on, but I wanted to know why you didn't have any pictures of Cyprus.
You mean Crete?
I mean, Crete, yeah.
Well, I'll be happy to show you those now, Mom.
Okay.
But that wasn't part of the pilgrimage. So we just kind of gave the immediate, like right after, but not the whole thing. So, because I figured, we weren't going to show our vacation pictures, was more about the pilgrimage. So,
Well, it was only one day. I mean,
I know. Yeah, but I'll be happy to show you. So.
okay.
All right. I'm not sure how to leave the meeting, but I guess I'm just going to click off. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you, Valerie. Aloha, it's good to see you. Okay. All right, so let's see if I can get my thing to show again. Yeah, we have over 300 pictures, so it took me all day to read through the pictures and figure out what I was going to show tonight. Then, okay, so, and you've already seen a lot of these, Mom, so I'm not sure if there's any new, but I will scroll down to Crete.
Have you put those on Google Photos yet?
Yeah, they're all in there now. Everything that I shared tonight, I believe, is on there. I might add a few more, but I mean, honestly, it's a lot already. And some of these were added by Tahiti and Cesar. I lost Amalia, but she hasn't done it yet. So, like, I didn't show all of it. It was already enough to show all the restaurants that we were in. But this is kind of neat. I want to share this one. This is Paul Griggs. He's a Baha'i who is serving there in Haifa. His mom and dad are the caretakers here at the Triangle Baha'i Institute. So he asked us a few days before, how are you guys getting out? And they said, I don't know, the pilgrimage office knows. And so then he connected with them and he was able to get the bus out as well and get home. So that was, yeah. So lots and lots of hanging out in coffee shops. Man, the coffee was good.
Yeah, I remember the picture of your wall hanging.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so here we are in Crete. This is after having landed at 4 a.m. So we're kind of tired and sleepy and pretty much like slept in our clothes. But this is a place called Philosophies that had really good phyllo pastries. So this stuff. And there is our beautiful niece. And somebody wants to play the phone. Hold on. David. Hello. David, are you there?
It's only showing.
Oh, there he is. David, hello. How are you? Can you hear me, David?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes.
David, we missed you. We just finished up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, we got the time thing wrong.
Okay, so you must be on the same time we are, and I apologize. When I checked, it looked like you were an hour later.
Yeah. Okay. That's too bad.
Okay, well, in any case, I'm showing what happened after we left because you already you were with us for most of it anyway. I'm just showing what we did in Greece. So I'm happy to send you a link to the slideshow that I shared with everybody. So if you want to take a look at it, you can. But we had about.
Can I ask you if Sandy was in the group?
No, she did not connect. Yeah, there were some other people one of the people did try and then he got disconnected. So, I'm not sure what happened, but I might consider doing this again, or if other people want to do it, they can as well. Because,
okay. Try it again. I would appreciate it if you would try it again next week at the same time. And I will know that it's my time, it's your time. In other words, 7 o'clock.
Okay, sounds good. I just realized I need to stop recording as well because I've been recording. So,
Oh, okay. All
Yes.
right. Hopefully, hope to see you next week, maybe.
all right. Thank you, David. See you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Lisa,
Uh-huh.
since you are recording it, is there a way, will it be on YouTube or something?
I can probably do that. Yeah.
Because my friends who couldn't get on would like to see it, but if they looked at a recording, they'd be like being there, sort of.
Okay. Oh, I'm so sorry they didn't get on. I don't know what happened. I'm so sorry. And I have no idea how to, oh, there it is. Okay. Stop recording. There we go.